Nagmahashaya would never be moved by any worldly upset, but he would lose all patience if anybody spoke ill of his master. A gentleman of Narayanganj once spoke all sorts of lies against Sri Ramakrishna. Nagmahashaya requested him very politely to refrain from doing so. But the more he began to beseech him, the more unrestrained became the other man's abuse of Sri Ramakrishna. Nagmahashaya once more told him, "Please do not tell lies against the master." But the man persisted. At last, Nagmahashaya got excited and said, "Get out of my house, or else you will have to suffer for it." Even this did not bring the man to his senses. He went on with his tirade till it exhausted Nagmahashaya's patience at last. Losing all self-control, Nagmahashaya beat this man in wild fury with a pair of shoes on his back and said, "Get out of this place at once, you rascal! Sitting here you dare speak ill of my master." The person concerned was a man of position and influence in Deobhog. While he was going away after being thus beaten, he threatened Nagmahashaya, saying, "What a sadhu you are! You will soon taste the bitter retribution." Nagmahashaya did not pay any heed to his words, but said, "O Lord, why dost thou bring such persons who speak ill of thee? Fie upon this household life." Nagmahashaya controlled himself in a short of time. The gentleman again came to him a few days after and begged pardon of him. Nagmahashaya thought no more of the event but received him very kindly and cheered him up. Girish Babu heard of this incident, and when Nagmahashaya came to Calcutta, asked him, "Well, you don't put on shoes. Where could you get a shoe to beat the man?" Nagmahashaya replied, "Why, I beat him with his own shoes." Then he bowed down before Girish Chandra, saying, "Glory to Sri Ramakrishna, glory to our Lord." Girish said, "Nagmahashaya is verily a hooded Naga." One day, Nagmahashaya was going to the Belur Math. He had to cross the Ganges on a ferry boat. There were people of various temperaments in the boat. Nagmahashaya took his seat in one corner. When the boat came to a certain distance, the Mutt building was in sight, and Nagmahashaya with folded palms made obeisance to the Mutt house. Finding him thus showing reverence, one passenger began to criticize the Mutt people and its ways and customs. Two or three others joined him with enthusiasm. Nagmahashaya could not tolerate any more. He got excited and said, "You know only to satisfy your craving for lust and gold. What do you know of the mud? Fie upon your tongue that spoke ill of the saints." Those people got terrified and asked the boatman to land the boat very soon, and they fled away lest they should be cursed for their showing disregard to the sadhus. Hearing the incident, Swami Vivekananda remarked, "Yes, that kind of hissing, as Nag Mahashaya did, is required at times." Sri Ramakrishna used to say, when the flower blooms, bees come of their own accord, and real seekers after truth of themselves gather around him. So do we find in the life of Nagmahashaya too. From about this time, earnest devotees and genuine God seekers began to flock to Nagmahashaya from all parts of the country. His name spread far and wide. Nagmahashaya told his wife, Sri Ramakrishna's last words of benediction have now been fulfilled, and real seekers after truth of themselves gather around him. So do we find in the life of Nagmahashaya too. From about this time, earnest devotees and genuine God seekers began to flock to Nagmahashaya from all parts of the country. His name spread far and wide. Nagmahashaya told his wife, Sri Ramakrishna's last words of benediction have now been fulfilled. Those that would come here must be true seekers of God, so I was told by the Master. Serve them with all care and devotion. God will bless you. Whoever went to see him, Nagmahashaya would never permit to leave without having partaken of some light refreshment at his house. And again, he had to arrange for beds and lodging even for those who came from distant places. He set apart a separate room for them so that they might live there as long as they liked. Everybody in the family felt an uncommon warmth and zeal in receiving guests. Deen Dayal would say, if a devotee even snatches his meal by force or by guile, the host goes to heaven as a result. Indeed, it is my great fortune that so many devotees come to my poor cottage and take their meals here. Nagmahashaya used to say, this is all the play of the Lord. He appeared as a distinct individual while embodied in human form, and now it is He that comes again to bless me in different forms. Truly, he would see the Lord in all beings and so served his guests as Narayana. One day, Nagmahashaya was suffering from acute colic pain. It was unbearable and it made him lose his consciousness at times. All on a sudden, some 8 or 10 guests came to his house without any previous intimation. There was not a grain of rice in his house. What could be done? He went out to the market even in that state of ill health, while carrying the bag of rice on his own shoulder from the market, for he never allowed anybody to carry these things. The pain increased and he fell down on the roadside. But he cared not for himself and was lamenting, O Lord, how ill-fated I am! Why has this befallen me today? Narayanas have come to my house. Ah, it is getting late to serve them with food. Wretched indeed is this cage of bone and flesh, this body that stands in my way of serving the Lord today. After a while, when the pain subsided a little, he went to his house with the bag. He bowed down before his guests and begged humbly their pardon for being so late in serving them. Once it was rainy season, and it so happened that 2 guests came to his house. The weather was very stormy, and it was pouring heavily that night. Nagmahashaya had only 4 rooms, of which again 3 were in such dilapidated condition as could afford no shelter from the rains. The thatched roofs were letting in the rain through their 1,000 holes. The remaining one only was in good condition. Nagmahashaya used to sleep in it. Now the guests finished their supper, but where could they pass the night? Nagmahashaya called his wife and said, "Look here, by the Lord's will, we are very fortunate indeed. Come, let us patiently bear a little inconvenience tonight for the sake of these Narayanas. Let us pass the night sitting at the porch and uttering the holy name of the Lord." So they vacated the room for the guests and passed the night in the porch in meditation and prayer. Nagmahashaya had no fixed monthly income, nor had he a fixed expenditure. The profit from the salt contract varied from time to time, while the number of guests went on increasing. Consequently, he was often in want of provisions. But whenever he felt the want, he got the things on credit from some unknown shops.